welcome back to my YouTube channel, #MovieBae. I am MovieBae, and in this video, I'm going to be recapping and reviewing episodes 3 and 4 of the Idol Tedros' Takeover. But before we get to it though, I would like for y'all to drop down and hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Because here on MovieBae, I do reviews, reactions, and commentary to movies and television. And if that is the type of content that you like, you might as well stick around and hit the subscribe button. And if you find yourself enjoying my commentary along the way, don't be afraid to give me a thumbs up and or drop a comment down below, especially to share your thoughts and opinions on this lovely show that we have here. Now let's go ahead and jump right into episode 3, entitled Daybreak. This episode begins with Tedros waking up Jocelyn by saying, "Let's go shopping." And when I tell you that's every lady's dream, that is every lady's dream. But let's talk about it. Are we going shopping with y'all money or with my money? Let me know. So they get into this really nice car. It's giving 70s vibes. And he's being really rude to Leia. Let's start there. He's being really rude to Leia, talking about her driving, cutting her off. And what is Jocelyn doing? Laughing. Red flag number 1. On top of that, they start getting into it in the back seat. And when I mean getting into it, I mean hot and heavy getting into it. Now, honestly, looks like a good time. Driving like not 70 miles an hour, maybe like 50 miles an hour down the street, getting some in the back seat, it in a convertible drop top in the LA weather. It seems like a good time. However, I feel like being discreet would have made that more enjoyable versus being so blatant about it. And of course, they're making Leah uncomfortable. Now, when they pull up to Valentino, it's a gang of people outside with their phones, taking pictures, screaming out Jocelyn's name. Yes, the paparazzi is there. So while Jocelyn and Tedros go shopping, Leia decides that she's going to call Jocelyn's managers and let them know what's been going on, that Tedros has been taking over the house. She states that he's the one who called the paparazzi. Now, I feel like he purposely called the paparazzi so he can be seen out with Jocelyn, so people know I'm running this. That's what I feel like. She also tells them that he fired the chef Andreas for inappropriately touching Jocelyn. Oh, and slapped him. So with the chef incident, I do feel like he was touching on her inappropriately, especially if Tedros is her man. But when it comes to firing him, you don't hold those cards, boo. So of course, when Andreas is fired, he says, "Well, I only take orders from my boss." Tedros had to look at Jocelyn for confirmation, and what does Jocelyn do? "It's been nice knowing you. Thank you so much for your services. I wish you well." I was like, but I mean, honestly, if my man is offended by my chef or intimidated, I guess I can get a new chef. I guess. So while Jocelyn and Tedros are shopping, Tedros is basically picking out all her clothes, all the type of shoes, everything she likes. He offers something differently. And the sales associate that is helping them, Tedros gets jealous because he accuses him of looking at Jocelyn. In my head, I'm like, he's gay. I thought he was gay. So the sales associate is like, "I don't know what you thought, and I apologize for you thinking that way, but that's not what's going on." And this shows Tedros's jealousy side if we didn't see it before. Also, I feel like this would have been a good moment in Tedros' character because he was trying so hard to be hard right here. But I think it would have been funny, like, for the audience too, that if he, said to the guy, "I'm just playing," like really quick, because Tedros' character is like, he is a clown. If we being honest, he's a guy who tries to act hard and really isn't, in my personal opinion. So I felt like that would have been a good write-in to do, like he's going to intimidate the guy and then just like, "Oh, I'm just kidding." And it also shows that he can be unhinged. Because Tedros is having such a good time picking out Jocelyn's clothes, this leads her to believe that he might be gay. Now, he gets a straight face, and I was like, oh, he about to slap the shit out of her. He about to slap her. But he was just like, "I'm not gay." And she's like, "Yeah, I think you're gay." And then it kind of turned into this, like, you could tell that she wanted to upset him because, like, prove to me you not. Like, you knew that they just wanted to get intimate with one another. And, of course, they do in the dressing room. Now, I personally don't have too many sex scenes in the show really do get on my nerves. But it's giving fan fiction. Like a little kid wrote this, or like a horny teenage girl wrote this show. As much as they're doing it, yes, I said it, and all the different places that they're doing it, I'm like, it's giving fan fiction type territory. Now, when Tedros and Jocelyn pulled back up to her crib, she sees that her managers are there because they decided to pull up, okay, to see what was really going on. And when Tedros got out of the car, he pulled out his necklace, which I believe is like some type of religion. I couldn't tell which one it was. And then Haim unzipped his jacket to show his Star of David. So I don't know if they had the same religion or if they were kind of trying to do like a power play. But when it came down to them talking to Tedros, it did give like mother, father, what are your intentions with my daughter's vibe. Haim was being more so of a good cop, and Destiny was being more so of a bad cop. Haim was just like, oh, where are you from? And, you know, Tedros was giving very generic answers. He seemed nervous, if you ask me. He said he was from LA. Nobody's from LA. Oh, yeah, well, I'm from Hollywood, and here's Destiny. Oh, me too. What school did you go to? Oh, I got kicked out of school. Oh, me too. So what school? Okay, yes, like you still need to answer the question. And here goes Jocelyn stepping in for him. Oh, he got kicked out. He doesn't like to talk about it. Are you trying to make him feel bad? I'm sorry. Do you feel bad? I didn't mean to make you feel bad. Like, I don't care. I don't care. I need information, sir. I need to know who you are. So after Tedros says that he has Mike Dean coming to the house, you know, they're kind of like, okay, well, we're going to let y'all try to do this 3-song deal. It has to be hits, nothing less. And then they leave. Now, when they leave, they walk past Leia, whatever, y'all know her name. And they let her know, oh, we love him. He's amazing. And she's looking like, huh? I feel like in that moment, they should have pulled Leia to the side and been like, look, we don't know how to read this guy. Like, if they don't want to give her all the information to make her panic, just be like, we don't know too much about this guy. We're going to look into it, you know, keep your head on a swivel. But they really just let her think that everything is good. So when you tell people everything is good, it kind of makes them feel like, well, am I tripping? You know what I'm saying? And because Leia is so weak, we don't need her in that mind state. Now, as soon as Jocelyn's managers leave, they having sex again. And it's like, oh my gosh, girl, don't your coochie get tired? Like, that's the thing. Doesn't your coochie get tired from this? Okay, so while she's falling in love in the backyard, Diane, her background dancer, is taking her career. Now, in this episode, we get this scene between Jocelyn and Chloe, and Jocelyn is opening up to Chloe about her mother and why she doesn't talk about her nor use her for creative inspiration. Chloe does tell her, you know, maybe you can just do it as like a lyric or two hidden throughout the songs, kind of like your little secret. So prior to, Jocelyn had not talked to anybody about her mother in that manner, but she talked to Chloe about it. Now, also in this scene, it is interchanging between Chloe going hard on the piano, okay, as well as Jocelyn brushing her hair and her getting her hair brushed. So you already seen the episode. Keep that in mind. Tedros goes to talk to Xander, who is also Jocelyn's creative director and her friend. Now, Xander tells him that, well, Tedros tells Xander, you're doing a horrible job. Your creative direction sucks. And Xander says, I agree, but I really don't have a say-so when it comes to, because of Jocelyn and the record label. So all my good ideas get thrown out the window. Now, Tedros was like, well, if you had 100% control, what would you do? Like, give me an idea. And Xander says he would use Jocelyn's Money Shot as her album cover. And of course, Tedros loves the idea. All the gang, by the way, why does Jocelyn have all these people stay in her house? I would hate that. Anyways, everybody's hanging out in the studio. Isaac's singing, and he asked Jocelyn to join in with him, and she says no. When I tell y'all, everybody in that room was like, oh my God. Like, sorry. They were just like super shocked. And Chloe says, if Tedros heard you say no, he would get upset. I was like, now we don't have free will around here. So she was like, why? And they were like, because if you say no, you're denying yourself of an experience. I was like, y'all brainwashed. This is a cult. Cult vibes, exit stage left. So Jocelyn puts this no thing to the test. She tells Isaac to kiss Ramsay, another person in their group, which I found out that this Ramsay girl, she's an artist of her own, and she co-writes some of the songs on here. Like, they get inspirations from Jocelyn's sound from Ramsay. And I went to her Instagram page, y'all, and I had to get off immediately because it wasn't positive. Let's just say that. It was very, very dark over there. Anyhow, so Isaac kisses Ramsay, and Jocelyn was like, well, would you have done the same thing if Leia was in the room? And of course, Isaac doesn't care. He don't care about that girl. What? So then Jocelyn's like, okay, well, kiss me. And everybody got quiet. Isaac's face got straight, and he was like, you know Tedros would kill me. That's not a good idea. And then Jocelyn has this smirk on her face, and I was like, she gonna use that against them one day. I know it. So the cult decides they're going to have a family dinner, and I don't know who cooked it because the chef is fired and they don't give me cooking vibes. So at this dinner, Jocelyn stands up and she makes a toast. She thanks everybody for being there. She's never been so happy in her life. And she thanks Tedros specifically by stating, thank you for teaching me how to have fun again. And they cheers to finding a new family. I love Jocelyn's fashion on this show. You know, when she does have on clothes, this outfit is just to die. And while everybody is talking and having fun, Tedros decides that he's going to interject by stating how Xander had a great idea today. And then Xander is pressured into saying what the idea was, and he tells Jocelyn, I think you should use your money shot as your album cover. And everybody said, oh my God, that's such a great idea. And, you know, she kind of rocks with it, you know, the thought of being edgy. However, she is reminded of how embarrassed she was when that photo was released. And I feel like Leia is the only person that has her own brain at this point at the table, because she too is like, no, this is not a good idea. Tedros gets upset because Jocelyn is like, well, let me think about it. He's like, what is there to think about? He kind of starts reprimanding her because she actually thinks before she does things. And he says, you're stuck for a reason. It's because you don't take any risk. And I'm thinking people literally get paid to do risk assessments, because no matter what you do, you have to think of the outcome, because if the outcome is more bad than good, you need to assess it. You need to think about it, Tedros. And he just starts talking down on her, and she's like, hold on. Why are you talking to me like I'm new to this business? I'm not. You are. I was like, oh, period. You better stand up for yourself, girl. Because a man, in my personal opinion, some men would understand, I'm sure, but a man, like Tedros especially, wouldn't care about putting a money shot of a female on an album cover, because he's not a female. He doesn't get that same ridicule and judgment that females get, especially when it comes to being sexual or sexualized, because men are the ones that's sexualizing us. Like, let's be honest. So he had no say so in how she felt about that, to be honest, and to make her feel bad because she didn't want to or had to think about putting her money shot as an album cover. I was like, I know too many men like this. And when I tell y'all, this dinner table scene really had me triggered, it had me triggered. Tells her that she is stuck in her career because she is superficial and she talks about superficial things. And she's like, well, I talk about relatable things, and I personally feel like my personal life is not as relatable. And he was like, why not? She was like, because of what I've been through. And then he eventually coaxed her to tell everybody, because I feel like she would have told him, but he was like, we don't hold secrets at this table, talk about it in front of everybody. So he coaxed her to tell everybody about her abusive mother. This is when I feel like Chloe went back and told Tedros about Jocelyn and how she doesn't want to talk about her mother and how she doesn't incorporate it in the music. I feel like Chloe told Tedros, and Tedros got this idea to kind of like pull it out of Jocelyn. So Jocelyn breaks down and she tells everybody how her mother was abusive. She used to beat her with specifically her hairbrush for any instance, kind of like training a dog. When you hit the wrong note, when you do this, when you're not doing that, if you get too fat, you know, things like that. And it's not, to be honest, I don't know why she thought that her personal life was not relatable, because A lot of people have abusive parents, Jocelyn. It might not be specific to a hairbrush, but a lot of people have abusive parents, unfortunately. Even in the industry, Michael Jackson and his entire family, like, come on. Like, it is relatable, sis. Anyways, how Tedros tried to make Jocelyn's friends feel bad because they didn't stop the abuse. First off, these are her best friends. They're the same age as her. Hypothetically, let's say Jocelyn's like 23. 10 years ago, she's 13. What are my 13-year-old friends supposed to do about my mother beating me? Like, what are they really supposed to do? So Tedros tried to make them feel bad for not stepping in. I'm like, bro, we the same age. Get out of here. And that's their family business. Like, what do we really have the power to do? Anyhow, he asked Jocelyn, do you feel like you're stuck because your mother isn't here doing those things to you? She says yes. And he says, well, I was like, I already know where this is going, child Jesus. He says, would you be open to that type of treatment if you feel like the music you making is worth it, that you love it? And she says yes. This leads into the scene that a lot of people were disgusted by, but I personally feel like they did it in a tasteful manner. I don't know how this show was shot prior to getting actually aired on HBO, like what made the original director uncomfortable to where Sam had to step in. However, how they delivered it was tasteful, because at first I thought they was just about to burn the brush. But he ended up, I ain't gonna say beating her with it, but kind of like, hitting her with the brush. Okay. Afterwards, Lord Jesus, he washes her, he bathes her, washes her hair. And I was like, he takes care of her, quote unquote. And abusive behavior, y'all. I'm going to punish you, or I'm going to hurt you, and then I'm going to take care of you so you can feel like, oh, at least he took care of me. He loves me. And then she has the nerve to say, thank you. I was like, I cannot. You literally were manipulated into telling your entire business to this man you legit don't know, in front of everybody. And I don't even think that she made the connection that, I talked to Chloe about my mom, now all of a sudden my mom is the topic of discussion. Okay, that was the end of episode 3, entitled Daybreak, you guys. If you are enjoying my commentary, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Now we're going to go ahead and get into episode 4, entitled A Star Belongs to Everyone. This episode was the worst writing of the entire series thus far. There was a whole lot of telling and not showing in montages instead of scenes. And then at the end of episode 4, we find out that episode 5 is the season finale. And I'm like, it's not even a complete story for a season here. So I don't know, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into it though. So this episode begins with the I didn't mean to hurt you, I'm just a jealous guy. Yeah, I love The Weeknd. So all the songs for this show, it's the best part. And that song sets the scene for the entire, or sets the tone for the entire episode. But we have the maids of the house cleaning this nasty, disgusting, dildo infested rock star lifestyle might not make it as house. And I'm thinking, we're pop stars. Like, why are we living like this? This is what happened when you have people you don't know move into your house that have no regards for like your space. Like, where's the respect? Anyways, even the maids are saying how Tedros has short man complex and that poor girl doesn't know what she's gotten herself into. People not even in your business know that you messing up, Jocelyn. Now we cut to Tedros and Leia going over Jocelyn's schedule for the day. He cancels the concert update call. He cancels Dr. Sugarman. And I'm like, if Dr. Sugarman is a psychologist, we don't need to cancel that. She needs to be in every single meeting. But most importantly, he cancels the Half Magic makeup line meeting, which Leia and Jocelyn collab on. And then he's like, well, we're not here for you. That's important to you. We're here for Jocelyn. And then he questions if she's here for Jocelyn, and she emphasizes, yeah, I'm here for Jocelyn. I am here for Jocelyn. And it was just like gave the whole tone like, I'm not here for you. I'm not going to follow you. I'm going to follow Jocelyn. But then this is followed up by Tedros telling her that you too weak. You ain't got no balls. Like, you soft. And if I was Leia, I would have took that as a message. Okay, girl, he's asking you to stand up and you're still sitting down. Tedros did have a meaning to the madness for canceling all of these appointments. It's because Mike Dean is in the house. Now, if y'all know who Mike Dean is, he is a famous producer. He has worked with Kanye, Beyonce, and of course, The Weeknd. So he has the sound that I like. Okay, and I'm pretty sure he produced probably all the music on the soundtrack, if we're being honest. So Mike Dean gets to the house and he's checking the acoustics to see where can they set up shop for the day. And it's so funny because he says it's a beautiful house, but the acoustics suck. And it's funny because this house is The Weeknd's house. Like, this is his actual house where they shot this show at. Now, they set up shop and Jocelyn introduces herself to Mike Dean and tells him about this song this melody that she's been working on, introducing Fill the Void. So while working on the song, she tells Tedros, I like not being or having to make decisions by myself because I trust you. And he was like, you know what? You should make that the opening line to the song. I don't want to decide things for myself on my own. Finally, for the first time, I'm alone. This is a very breathy song. Now, I love this song, y'all. And it gives The Weeknd vibes. But, let's be honest. This would be cute if y'all were married. But you don't want to make your own decisions, sis. You giving this stranger full control of you. Now, in the studio session, when Tedros wants to run the track back, Leia won't stop talking, apparently, and he gets upset, yells at her, and eventually kicks her out of the session. Now, Jocelyn tries to, take up for Leia, but you ain't trying hard enough, because who you talking to? Like, this is bestie. You need to calm down. Now, we have a scene between Destiny and Jaime, her managers, Jocelyn's managers, and this is when Destiny shares all the information that she's found out about Tedros. She says that his real name is Mauricio Costello Jackson. Jaime was like, is he Italian? She's like, nah, he black. His parents just wanted to be fancy. So we find out that Tedros has kidnapped and tortured his ex along with other charges that came out during trial. Now, Destiny wants to unalive him, but Jaime says no. Instead, he wants Destiny to be the eyes and ears in the house so we can find his weak spot, because guys like this always have a weak spot. Now, Destiny comes to the house, but she gets caught up talking to Chloe. Now, Chloe is singing this beautiful crocodile song, and Destiny's giving her pointers. First off, I did not know she could blow like that. I'm talking about blow. Okay, anyways, and I tell y'all, I've been walking around the house. Ooh, ah. I'm gonna get a record deal soon, okay? But we get this backstory about Chloe that I was a heroin addict. I was like, girl. So she used to do drugs. Tedros saved her. And she's 18. Note that this little girl has been running around the house half naked around all of these people the entire show. Okay. Now, we also get like a little insight into Chloe, because she's so nice that she says Destiny should just stay here with them. And that is when Destiny knows, like, okay, this girl is an angel. She's very talented, and she gives her some advice. She says, don't let anyone get in between you and your gift. And if you see something and it feels wrong, it is wrong. Destiny finally makes her way to the studio and they play the song for her. She likes the song. However, there's a part at the very beginning where Jocelyn's just like, yeah, and it's very anticlimactic. So Tedros has her do it again, but this time blindfolded while being played with in front of everybody. And of course, his people are into it. They're rocking and listening to the song. And Leia and Mike Dean's people, they're like, this is awkward. Now, after the session, we have this pillow talk session between Isaac and Leia. And Leia says that it's wrong that people are just sitting around while Jocelyn is being assaulted. Okay? And I'm like, she's like going in on why people are not doing anything and they're supposed to be taking care of her. And I'm like, are you doing anything? Are you doing anything to stop it? Because you also have the power to stop it. And then she says, you know, he's using her. Like, he has mind control over her. He's using her like she's not even human. And this is when Isaac says, the title of the episode, she's not human, she's a star. And stars belong to the world. Now, this show was written by The Weeknd, and y'all know he has an industry insight, and so he does be dropping gems in here. Like, he does. It's just, you know, kind of, you gotta search for him. But that was a deep line. Fans and people, they do treat celebrities like they're not human. Like, we have all access to you. Like, no, you can't say no to a picture. Yes, you gotta sign every autograph. No, you can't be tired. No, you can't be imperfect. You know what I'm saying? So, like, your abilities, what you give out to the world, that's what's important, not you. You know what I'm saying? So that was a deep line. So Destiny touched base with Jaime, and she's talking about how Jocelyn is being controlled, you know, basically by sex. They have a musical sex cult going on in the house, and she talks about how Tedros is torturing people in the house to get them to tell him their deepest, darkest secrets. And although he is getting hits, his methods of doing so are wild. Now, this is one of the issues that I had when it came to you're telling us instead of showing us. Like, we could have found that out throughout episodes throughout the season, but y'all only got 5 episodes and it's just not giving any information. I saw a comment somewhere stating that this show should have just been a movie, and I feel like it would have been more fleshed out if it was a movie. While Xander is singing in the shower, Tedros walks up on him and he's like, yo, why don't you sing anymore? You should use the gift that God gave you. And Xander says, yeah, did you ask Jocelyn how she would feel about that? This leads us to our house meeting, where Xander is then called out, and he sees that Jocelyn has brought Tedros a shot collar. So he already knows what goes on in the house, and he doesn't want to be a part of it. So he takes off running. But Head and Isaac, they track him down, tie him down, and Tedros puts the shot collar on him. Now, initially, Jocelyn's like, please don't do this. He doesn't deserve it. But Tedros kind of talks her into, you know what, I'm dedicated to you and we gonna find out the truth type thing. So he asked Xander a series of questions like, why didn't you intervene when Jocelyn's mom was abusing her? And I'm thinking, like, bro, they were teenagers. What is he really supposed to do? Because he gonna end up getting hit too. So Xander says, Jocelyn asked me not to. She said that's a lie. He zapped. Tedros asks, why don't you sing anymore? Xander says, Jocelyn's mom made me sign a contract stating that I can't. She says that's a lie, and he zapped again. Now, I'm thinking because they came from a TV show together, I'm thinking like Disney star type stuff, okay? And Xander can sing better than Jocelyn. Everybody in that house can sing better than Jocelyn, if we're being honest. So I wouldn't put it past her mom to be like, sign this contract saying you'll never sing again, and you could just come work for us. So I'm thinking, Jocelyn, you probably wouldn't have even known if your mom did do that. So how are you going to call him a liar? So then Xander gets upset and he starts calling her all types of B's and C's and says you're worse than your mother. So she tells Tedros to shock Xander again and again and again and again. All the while she's doing these crocodile white woman tears, and it's just pissing me off. So eventually Xander admits to quote unquote lying, and I honestly believe Xander was telling the truth. By the way, I guess Leia wasn't invited to this family meeting because I'm pretty sure if she was, that she would have been on Xander's side. That night, Destiny talks to Jocelyn, and we also get an introduction to Tough Love, which is another song that I do like. This one is really, really toxic, but what do you expect, right? So, like, literally all the songs for the show is what Jocelyn's going through with Tedros. So you can expect nothing less than toxic. Anyhow, Destiny asks Jocelyn, how much do you really know about this man? And this is when Jocelyn tells Destiny that she knows about his record. She knows he's been to prison, But the stories that she reiterates is not the stories Destiny looked up online. So Tedros told Jocelyn that he has been to jail for domestic abuse. However, it was in self-defense. And that these girls that he tried to help and save, they extorted him for money and went to the police and called him a pimp. So he went to prison for that too. I was like, so Tedros is just the fallen star. He's the victim and everybody's against Tedros. And I'm thinking, like, does Jocelyn really believe this? Is she really that dumb? Or was she just trying to tell Destiny this information so Destiny wouldn't ask too many questions or be worried? Now, the next morning, Tedros wakes up Jocelyn and he tells her, you need to go public. And I'm like, about the relationship? No. But what he's talking about is that she needs to go public about the abuse because this will help sell tickets. And when I tell y'all Jocelyn turned on those white woman tears, I honestly, I don't know. I didn't believe anything she said. It could have been real, but to me, it was a whole act, especially because your whole quote unquote new family was right there watching you the entire time. So in order to celebrate, they throw a mansion party. This is when Leia is cleaning up at the party because, you know, it's just getting a little out of hand. And Tedros calls her a bitch and sprays water in her face. And of course, Leia runs away because she's embarrassed in a PUS, and y'all know the rest. Now, Jocelyn does actually stand up for Leia in this instance, like full fledged. She was like, she don't like you, and now you know why would she? Because you act like that, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay. So Jocelyn left Xander by the wayside, but she does still take up for Leia a little bit. This is when Diane comes to the party and Chloe spills all the tea. She tells Jocelyn how Diane made her come to the club to introduce her to Tedros, and she didn't think that y'all would get close because Tedros and Diane, they used to be a thing, and Jocelyn's just sitting there like, everything was fake. And Destiny looking like, you've been played. I hope that you come to your senses after this. So Diane comes over and gives Jocelyn a hug and tells her about the record deal and wants Jocelyn's blessing, and Jocelyn gives it to her. However, I personally feel like during that meeting with the record execs, because she was all alone for the first time, she's alone, and she was overwhelmed. And I personally feel like she came back to run everything by Tedros versus Jocelyn. Because let's be honest, girl, you don't care about her. But that goes back into the writing. Like, why wasn't Tedros at that meeting? That's so out of character for him. So, in the spirit of retaliation, Jocelyn decides to call her ex-boyfriend, Rob. Now, Tedros greets him with shots. And as hard as Tedros goes, or all the people in his house go with the drinking and the drugs, Tedros couldn't hold down his shots at all. Like, Rob just throwing them back. Meanwhile, Tedros is about to throw up, okay? And it really showed his weakness. Like, oh, so you're jealous? But he wasn't even on some, this my house, get out jealousy like we expected him to be. He kind of retreated, which is weird. So Jocelyn comes down and interrupts their play fighting session. And Rob was like, have you met the Kung Fu master? And she says, no, I don't need to. And jumps on Rob and they go up to her room. I was like, oh, okay. Meanwhile, Rob is trying to talk about her mom and, you know, things that are boring to Jocelyn. Jocelyn just wants I just want some sex. Okay, that's Jocelyn at this moment. We not trying to talk about my dead mama, all right? But the whole time, Tedros is outside the door, banging on the door, crying and stuff. I'm like, bro, I didn't peg you for being a weakling. Okay, so anyhow, Jocelyn and Rob have sex. Rob leaves, and on his way out, Xander comes up to him with Sophie, another member of the cult, okay? And they get a picture with Rob. Now, this picture, Sophie is in a swimsuit, and he thinks it's just a fan, but she starts jumping on his lap and, like, rubbing all on him. And he's like, wait a minute. Like, erase that, bro. Like, I ain't feeling all of that. I wonder what they're going to try to do with this picture. First off, Xander, after your treatment, I thought you would have left, but apparently you are under the full control of the cult as well. And finally, that girl is probably underage, maybe, and they're probably going to try to ruin Rob's career because he's about to go on a press tour for his new movie. That is the end of episode 4. Thank y'all so much for tuning into my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed my commentary, give me a thumbs up. And of course, consider subscribing and check out episodes 1 and 2 recap as well. Now on HBO, on Max, they stated that the season finale is next week with only 5 episodes. And it's so much left to unpack. Max said that they haven't renewed the show, but they also haven't canceled it. So who's to know if it's going to be a season 2 or not. Thank y'all so much for tuning into my YouTube channel. Like I stated, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.